Yeah, sorry about that. My anxiety just took over, so I guess this is now a two-take video. But it was recording. I don't know why the microphone is flashing. It is now. I don't know why I didn't notice it until 10 minutes in. I also don't know where I was. I was talking about Wicca, my personal deities. I think I was done. Yeah. These earrings, my sister made me. They are basically just flat circles, but they're meant to represent the full moon. It's one of the subtle ways that I show my witchiness, because I am in what they call the broom closet, meaning that I would not feel safe coming out of the broom closet to my family. Play on coming out of the closet being gay. Gotta hide it. I'm a closet witch in the broom closet because witches have brooms. I'm over explaining. Haha. My mom knows, and she's actually cast a few spells with me. The reason that we are not telling my dad is kind of funny. It's not because he's against pagan religions or anything. For any personal, religious, or political reasons, one of his ex-girlfriends was a witch. So now he doesn't trust them. And that's it. He had his heart broken by a witch. So now he can't know that his daughter's a witch. So we're protecting his feelings, and it's nothing sinister. He's just a sad, sad man who's bitter over his lost love because he had to settle for my mom. I make myself laugh if no one else. I don't know if you can tell from this lighting, but it's actually getting very dark, and the sun has gone down. This will be a weirdly cut, two clips. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's on my phone, and I've never done this before, obviously. This is episode 1. I just thought of something. I've been drinking beer with these in, and they have not budged. These are good teeth. This is good glue. I got these off Wish. Like, I honestly don't know how good I feel about mixing together a chemical compound. I guess it was the adhesive. It was a powder and a goo that you put on the inside of the tooth and then put on your tooth. But I didn't swallow any. I made a point not to get it in my mouth at all, just between the tooth and the plastic tooth. But it still tasted like dental stuff, like when you go to the dentist and they use a cleaner or the whatever. It just tastes bitter and sweet at the same time, but so bad. So I did the rinse and spit with just water because I didn't want to dissolve anything, but I've been drinking beer now, so that's pretty impressive. For 20, I've been filming for 4 minutes and 20 seconds since I thought the sound had cut out. Obviously, if you've got beers and bowls at home, feel free. Just because I'm not there. Wait, no? Just because you're not here with me doesn't mean I'm not there with you. You got a drinking buddy even though I'm alone. That's the thing though. I never feel like I'm alone anymore. You know, not like I ever did, but you know that way that you do when you're in a giant organized religion? I also have a theory about that, which is basically each god, deity, whatever you want to call it, can only do so much. So these giant organized religions who worship these mega deities, Allah, God, Jesus, you know, they have a lot of children to look after, and they can't ever possibly get to all of them. And that's why so many people feel unfulfilled in their religion, because it's so busy. It's so flooded with wishes and prayers that they just get filed away as too much, along with everything else. It's a tsunami that any being, mortal or immortal, would get overwhelmed by. Maybe that's just me having too much human compassion and empathy, but I know if I had hundreds of millions of people asking me to fix their football games every Sunday, I'd just stop answering. I'd stop answering. Not to say that I'll ever be a deity, just trying to empathize, reach out, put myself in their shoes temporarily to try and understand. Which is really the only thing we can do, because their way of communication with us is not verbal, which is the only method that most people will accept. Or written, obviously. Verbal or written are the two main ways that most people accept language. Don't mean to leave a long pause. I'm just thinking about the first time that I met a deaf person. Which I did not intend for that to be as funny as I just found it. Okay. I was a cashier a couple summers ago, and this line of people came in, and one of the guys, he had his sunglasses on, and he, was looking down at the counter. He had his hat on too, so he wasn't looking at me, and he just put a piece of pizza and his soda on the counter, and I said the total, but he had already put the money on the counter, so I took it and I made his change, and he was putting it away and about to go, and the person who was teaching me how to use the register, she told me, she leaned in and she whispered, "He's not being rude, he's deaf." So then, obviously she didn't know that I'd learned sign language the year before, because I just met her too. So I kind of waved in front of him a little bit to get his attention, and he looked up at me, and I went, "You sign?" And his face lit up, and he went, "Yeah." And so I introduced myself, and I said I learned a little bit of sign language in high school, and he was like, "Wow, it's so nice to see you. I'll come here more." And that made me feel so good. And I saw him 3 more times that summer, even though I was only working part-time, and it was such a extremely unpredictable scheduling. But all 3 of those interactions were so nice, and he taught me how to say the word bag, because I didn't know for some reason. When I asked him if he wanted a bag, I stopped, and I had to say, "Wait, do you know the sign for B-A-G?" And it was so embarrassing, but also it was a great teaching moment, because in that when he usually came in, he had his sunglasses on, but when I asked him how to sign bag, he took them off and put them on top of his hat so I could look him in the eyes. His eyes were so powder blue, they were so bright. But so he took his sunglasses off so I could look him in the eyes, and he went like this. And because, you know, he didn't mumble, he whispered every word that he said. I of course, I don't know his whole backstory, but I imagine he went deaf later in life rather than was being born deaf. But the cashier I was working with, she told me that his girlfriend is gorgeous, so good for him. And honestly, he wasn't too bad looking himself. Those eyes were they were almost white. They were so light blue. People in my town have the brightest eyes. Like, that job was at Four Corners up the road, but when I was in high school, I got my very first job down in town at a place called Washington General. And the manager there, Sean, he has yellow eyes. They are bright yellow like a dandelion. Like, it reminds me of that Christmas movie every time, just yellow eyes. He had yellow eyes. And just every single time I see him, I have to stop myself from staring through his soul. Because his eyes are so pretty to look at. Because yellow's my favorite color, and eyes are pretty. I like looking at eyes. Who doesn't like looking at a pretty pair of eyes? It's just awkward because it's my freaking boss. The most awkward thing happened with him. 2 years after he fired me from my very first job, he and one of his kids came to my university for a spelling bee, and he had the nerve to ask me, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I said, "I go here. What are you doing here?" I just got the alert on my wireless headphones. Low battery. Please charge. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I got one last swig of beer and a couple more puffs. So I'll top it off for you. And pour some out for one's homies. Have a good night, y'all.